Guys, I can't take both of you, okay? I really wish you guys would stop asking. I can't take both. I mean, you're an enduro machine. I mean, long, slack, you eat up anything I throw at you, and you're not a bad climber either. But you, I mean, amazing on the uphills, amazing on the downhills, kind of like him, but you know, the weight is a little bit of an issue. It's kind of a plus and negative. I mean, it's just, guys, it's so hard to decide. I really can't take both of you. Or can I? What is up, Midlife Shredders? Welcome to another episode. Today we're talking about my two bikes, my favorite bikes that I've ever owned, the Fezzari Sal Peak and the Fezzari Timp Peak. Now, you may or may not know, but Fezzari just rebranded to ARI Bikes. So from now on, I am going to be referring to them as ARI Bikes. The only reason I said Fezzari was because they still have the Fezzari logos on them, the Fezzari branding on them. And so going forward, I will refer to them as ARI, but I just wanted to get that out of the way. So why am I talking about two bikes in one video? Normally when people do bike reviews, they just talk about one bike. Well, in this video, I'm going to show you that these two bikes, even though one's an e-bike, one is a non-e-bike or acoustic bike or Amish or whatever you want to call them, these two bikes have more in common than you think. So let's get started. All right, so a quick intro to these bikes. The Sal Peak, it is their enduro offering, 170 travel, and it is, yeah, it's the smash and grab bike in their lineup. I've had this version of the Sal Peak for a little over a year now. Originally I had the gray frame, but last summer ARI Bikes sent me the butterscotch frame, and I love this color. In my opinion, I think it's a better color, but I built this up last summer. And yeah, this is what I take to bike parks and some of my downhill trails around here in Middle Tennessee. Now, the Timp Peak, I just got about 5 months ago, and this is my second e-bike. The first one was the Fezzari Wire Peak, and that was a great bike. It was amazing. But when they came out with the Timp Peak, and I learned that this is their enduro e-bike, I had to have it. It is just, it's basically the Sal Peak with a motor. The characteristics of both these bikes are so similar that you would not believe it. And since I love the ride of the Sal Peak, the Timp Peak it just adds to the fun with a torque motor. So let's get into the specs. When I say that these bikes are almost identical, I am not exaggerating. So let me just read you some of the geometry numbers that are exactly the same between them. Top tube, 613. Seat tube, 440. Chainstay, 437. Head angle, 63.5 degrees. Seat angle, 77.5 degrees. Bottom bracket height, 347.6 millimeters. Wheelbase, 1264.8 millimeters. Standover height, 742.6. Stack height, 630.6. Reach, 485 millimeters. Now with those geo numbers, you might be thinking, wow, they should ride exactly the same. Well, yes and no. I mean, again, the kinematics between these two bikes are very similar. The only difference is, obviously with the Sal, it doesn't have that torque motor, it doesn't have that center weight to kind of keep you planted. So it's going to be more playful. It's going to throw you around a little bit when you're doing anything aggressive downhill, you know, but sometimes that's what you want. With the Timp Peak, you've got that center of gravity. It's going to keep you down. I mean, it's going to be planted when you hit jumps and things like that. You're going to feel that confidence of just sticking that landing. When downhill chunk and things like that, you're going to feel glued to those rocks and that terrain. So it does make it hard to decide. It really just depends on, like, am I going to a bike park or I'm gonna be doing some shuttling, or I'm gonna have a long day in the saddle, or I might just wanna get through a ride really quick. I have limited time. You know, those are the things you really have to decide that are gonna be the difference when you choose between these two bikes. I have to say, I feel like I've got the best of both worlds. So a couple things I forgot to mention when I was filming outside was some features about these bikes that I assume too much you as a viewer would already know. So if you're new to ARI Bikes or unfamiliar with them, some of these things you may not know. So one of the things is that the flip chip, the GA Link system that ARI Bikes has allows the bike to have different characteristics, different feels, and also have different options. So if you want to mullet the bike or you want to run 27.5, you can. There's a GA Link on there. Both these bikes have that, and I've used it a little bit on the Sal Peak when I put a 27.5 wheel on the rear end, and I changed that GA Link. Allows to lift that bottom bracket up a little bit to compensate. I personally actually didn't really care for it. So I actually went back to the 29.5, or sorry, the 29er, and I actually like that way much better. I don't know why. I know some people love the 27.5, makes it more agile, makes it more playful in that manner. I just, because I use this bike to also pedal on certain trails, I felt like any benefit, any playfulness it gave me, which I didn't really notice all that much, really lagged in the climbing, and I didn't really like the way it climbed with the 27.5. So, so me personally, I didn't like it, but that doesn't mean that you wouldn't. The option is there for you though, so that's what's awesome about it. Same thing with the Timp Peak. You can mullet it and put a 27.5 in the rear end. However, I've been told, I've never tried it, but I've been told by some other riders, and from what I've heard from ARI itself, that they don't recommend it. The kinematics of the Timp Peak are just so well dialed in that any benefit that you would think of 27.5 might actually be a negative. So I guess it depends on what size of rider you are, the type of rider, and what you really want. But I know for me, and for my buddy Jason, who also has a Timp Peak, we both left them with 29.5 in the rear end. So there's that. But again, the option is there, and that's what's great about that feature with both these bikes. So just real quick to talk about the price points with these bikes. I'll go into what I built up, because I did customize mine a little bit on both bikes. But both these are great value, and they offer a ton. And I can't go into great detail on this video because there's a lot to go through. You can go on their websites, aribikes.com, and check them out. But I want to let you know the price points with both these bikes. The Sal, the comp version, starts at $3,900, and then there's the team version, which is the highest price point you can get with all the bells and whistles, goes up to $8,500. There is a frame-only version that comes with the shock, and that is at $3,000. So when you look at it, I mean, it's pretty much, it's almost worth it just to get a one of the builds already. And ARI is great about customization. So whether you want a certain wheel set or a certain suspension, they usually do offer all types of suspension, whether it's RockShox, Fox, DVO. So you can pretty much customize it. Same thing with components. You know, whether it's a dropper post or brakes or anything like that, they do offer quite a bit, so you can customize it however you want. With the Timp Peak, just like LaSalle, comes with several different builds. Their prices start at $6,200 for the comp build, goes all the way up to $9,800 for the team build, and you can also get a frame build only for $5,000, and that comes with the frame, motor, everything, you know, all the internals and stuff like that with the shock. So again, I would recommend just getting a complete build and customize it however you want. I think it'll save you money that way. And just like the Sal, they offer different components and different things you can swap out. You just call them and let them know what you want and see what's available. But those are the price points for both these bikes. These bikes are not only the same in geo numbers, I've got them built up almost identical. So I've got the PNW bars, the range bars, 31.8s. I've got the tidal stem, 35mm reach. I'm running TRP DHR Evos with the Freedom Coast levers on both bikes. I've got suspension. I'm running RockShox Zeb Ultimate 170. Both bikes are 170 up front. Both of them have the Buttercups. I'm also running the Super Deluxe Ultimate shock. Both are 170. The Timp Peak has the GX transmission drivetrain on it, whereas the Sal Peak has GX Axis transmission. So that's a little bit different. Both of them have the Hustle Lab pedals, magnetic pedals. I love. Those are just now the staple on all my bikes. Both have the SQ Lab 60X saddles. Now on the Timp Peak, I have the Loam Dropper 200mm. On the LaSalle Peak, I have the One Up 210mm. Both bikes are running Spank rims with the Hex hubs, Hex J hubs. The only difference between these is that on the LaSalle, I have the 350 rims. On the Timp Peak, I have the 359, a little bit burlier. Both bikes have the rev grips. I love these things. And on both bikes also, I'm running the Wolf Tooth Remote 360 dropper levers. So that is it as far as the components on both these bikes. All right, guys, there you have it. The ARI LaSalle Peak and the ARI Timp Peak. If you enjoyed this video talking about the crazy similarities between the two and the very few differences, hit that like button on the video. And if you want to be a part of this journey of me figuring out all this bike stuff in my midlife, then hit that subscribe button and bell notification. It lets you know when I've got another video coming around. If you want to support this channel, feel free to visit the Midlife Shredder merch store and pick up a t-shirt or a hoodie or a mug or anything like that. All the money that comes from that store gets put back in the channel, allows me to keep making these videos. If you have any questions of things that I might not have covered or may not have stated or anything like that, or anything at all about these two bikes, feel free to leave those questions in the comments below. And yeah, I'd love to hear from you. So until the next time, live, learn, and send it. It is never too late to start. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Pretty leafy. He's falling blood already. There we go.